Greetings, football fans. Welcome to the PrepZone preview show, week 11. It's the end of the regular season. You know, sometimes the easiest way to figure out where you are is to look back on where you've been. So that's why we're out at Immokalee this week to get you all set for this week in football. And get us started, here's Coach Weber with his breakdown.
Hello, football fans. Coach Webb, the last week of the high school football season. All the playoff games are set, and everybody's looking for that word called momentum, getting ready to go into the playoffs. Golden Gate travels to Gulf Coast. Both of these teams are coming off losses. Gulf Coast played South right to the wire last week. I look for Gulf Coast to rebound, to gain that momentum as they get ready to go into the playoffs. They have played well all year. I think they're a little bit better than Golden Gate. Game 2, Palmetto Ridge travels to Lely. Lely gets knocked out of the playoffs last week by Immokalee. Been a very disappointing season for the Trojans. They're going to try to rebound with an upset of Palmetto Ridge. Palmetto's going to the playoffs. They're working with a great deal of momentum. I think they're too much for the Trojans. And in our spotlight game, we're at Immokalee High School. And joining me is the head coach of the Indians, Dale Moore. Coach Moore, you've got to be exceptionally proud of this football team. You start off with a young club. The first half of your season is not what you expected. You make a move in the mid part of the season to change your offense. You suspend a couple of guys. You kick a couple of guys off. And whatever you did certainly worked because this club has really played great football the last 3 or 4 weeks.
Thank you, Coach. Yeah, I'm excited. You know, we really are, and the kids have bought in. You know, we're playing with a bunch of kids that played JV last year for the most part. We're down to 11 seniors, and we had to get rid of a few guys that weren't doing what they're supposed to do. You know, and offensively we weren't able to move the ball and score, and so we had to make a change. You know, when you recognize it, you got no choice but to do it. And so, you know, I thought the kids have really come on. I thought they've really played well the past 5 weeks now. You know, they've bought in. They've bought in. Not to what we're doing. I feel like they bought into each other. They bought into for playing for one another and realizing what's important in this game is the guys inside of that locker room just over there. And that's when we've really turned it on.
Well, boy, last week you get behind, you lose a kid to an injury, and I know how that is, and a club can fold up, but looked like after that injury against Lely that your club picked it up and you beat Lely in a game that you had to have to be in the playoffs. Actually, both of you, either one that won it would have been in the playoffs, and you guys really turned it on and had a really sound performance against Lely last week.
You know, it's tough to lose a kid, you know, and that was a really, really rough-looking injury and really scary. And, you know, Gene St. Ann he's the kid you love to coach. He's the first guy on the practice field. He's the last one to leave. Heck, most nights he sweeps the locker room by himself. And on top of it, he's one of our best players. You know, just really great kid to coach and to be around. So it hurts when it happens to a kid, but when it happens to a kid like that, it got everyone. And the kids rallied around that. You know, they love that guy. You know, that's their buddy. Yep. He's friends with every single person on the team. You know, and that's pretty rare, I think, especially nowadays. And they rallied around him, and they came and played, and they won that game for him. Every breakdown from then on that these kids had, whether it be in the locker room or out here, was on, you know, Gene. That's how they broke it down. So they definitely rallied around him.
Well, this week you play, I think, the international school out of Broward. I know very little about them, but I know one thing. You want to keep momentum going into the playoffs now that you're in. Are you going to do anything any different against this ball club? I think they're 0-9. I'm not sure about that, but I know that momentum going into the playoffs is so huge when you make that playoff run.
Definitely. We just got to keep on getting better. You know, that's really what we've been doing since week 3. Is just getting better and getting better at what we're doing, and that's just what we're going to continue to concentrate on is to improve how we're playing football. They're 0-9. That doesn't mean that they're not dangerous. They got guys. You know, they're a brand new football program, but they've got some people. You know, so we got to come out and give it our best effort, work hard, work for one another, and get ready for the playoffs. And like you said, we got to keep that momentum. You know, that momentum is very important, and rolling into our first game in the playoffs next week.
Well, folks, this is it. This is the last show before the playoff breakdown next week. Go see a game. These kids have played all year long. This is the last one you're going to get to see before the playoffs. Get up, go support your local high schools. We'll see you next week. Scotty and I are going to break the playoffs down.
Hey, anytime you can set a school record, you know, that's something special. And this week, we're giving the kickers love, where Elias Cuevas has set the career field goal record, and he's only a sophomore. So for more on that, here's our player spotlight.
I broke the career long most amount of field goals this year, combined with last year's field goals. I just try to give my team like the most amount of points I can, like 3 points, an extra point. Even if it's a kickoff, I try to try to put it in the end zone any way I can. Well, I started with the goalkeeper coach. He's the kicking coach here, and he asked me to come play because I would do the goal kicks for our goalie, and he told me to come play, and I started kicking my freshman year, and it's just really important. Like, I try to be more involved in the school, just not soccer. I want to try to leave it hard for the other kickers to break, because I know this kicker over here, JV kicker, he's a great kid. He's improving too, and I want to make that record hard for him to break. We have a lot of connections. Like, our team is like built as one. Like, we hang around together in school. We're like built as like a family, like a unit, and we all work together, try to get better every day. I think it's gonna be a good game. Like every other game, we gotta go out there and show them our pride.
Hey, that does our show. Thank you so much, as always, for tuning in. This does it for the regular season, but we will be back next week with our playoff preview edition. And don't forget to stay with PrepZone all week. We got your news, notes, analysis, photos, videos, everything to get you ready for Friday night, where we'll have the live chat going. We keep our reporters spread out all over the area to keep you up to date on everything going on. So for PrepZone, I'm Scott Butherus.
Coach Webb, look out for next week. There could be some surprises.
Until then, we got you covered.